Hello, everyone. Yes, my name is Martinez Sellers, and I am your mental health hygienist coming to you live, as always, and in living color, all the way from Southern California, where the wind is blowing and the sun is always shining. Listen, I am so glad that you are here. We are so excited that this is the first of our series in the Black Man Made Well with our webinar and seminar that is starting on Monday. But we are so excited to have this Black Man Made Well series to really talk about the impact and the challenges that we as Black men have, that too many of us secretly suffer in silence in the shadow of shame. But as I say on my Mental Health Matters with Marty show, we have to speak up. We got to speak out so that we might be able to live. Now, what is the Black Man Made Well? Well, I'm so glad that you asked this question. We have this short video that we want to share with you of an endorsement for this. If you have not registered, why you need to register. Take a look.
So hello, I am actor Richard T. Jones, and I just want to encourage everyone to embrace this specific week of Black Men Made Well. It's very important that we keep our mental health strong, and not only strong but consistently strong. You know, it's nothing more important than to have soul, mind, and body being unified, being on one accord. So I just want to really encourage every man out there to really take this week seriously, get all of the tips and all of the routines and disciplines that we need as Black men just to be strong-minded. You know, we're always taught to be strong physically, but we're not really taught to be strong-minded, which is the most important. So have a blessed week, go full force, and I'm already proud of you. So I just hope your week is going to be as prosperous as mine. And that's it.
Yes, we are so excited. Thank you, Richard T. Jones, for that endorsement to show you how important it is for we as Black men to take care of ourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. But I'm so glad. Listen, let us know you're listening. Give us a shout out. Let us know who's there. Call some folk, get them in on here, because we have an amazing conversation that we're having about today. Today, we want to talk about Black men, their mental health and ministry. Woo! That's a deep subject. Black men, their mental health and ministry. I often ask, why is there a lack of Black men in the church? Why is it that Black men are struggling with finding their way? In so many churches, we already see that women dominate it. But where is the role for the Black man? Where is the healing for the Black man? Where is the support for the Black man? I'm often hearing that we need support, and we need, as Black men, safe spaces just to talk to and share our emotions in a safe space. Because I'm all about, listen, too often, we don't get a lot of chance to share our emotions because we have not been taught. We've been told to suck it up. We've been told to man up. We've been told not to be a punk, don't be weak, and all those things. And we're told that throughout our entire lives as children. But what happens? What happens when we become men and we no longer know how to express those things because we were told to suppress them when we were young? So how do we become men of God, men of our families, men of our workplaces, men who are strong fathers, men who have pride, the right type of pride, not pride that comes before the fall, but pride in who we are, pride with our families, pride that we are doing a rightful job and taking care of not just our families, but ourselves as well. And proud that we are men in the church. Can I get an amen out there? That's right. I'm so glad to have not only my pastor, but I'm going to say I've claimed him as my internet pastor out there as well. So I'm excited. And you know what? I'm so glad my pastor, we got a relationship. That's my road dog. Yeah, he know, I'll shoot you Negroes in the pinky toe for this man here, because that's my dude. That because he's been there at my lowest time, and that's what a pastor is. He's seen me at my weakest, and he hasn't judged me. He's seen me at my best, and he's praised me. He's seen me at my worst. He's come along and critiqued me, and sometimes had to have a strong arm with me. But you know what? I respect him because that's my brother. But he's also been in the planning of this. But come on and welcome to us for kicking off the Black Man Made Well, none other than my pastor, Pastor JT, Pastor James Turner. JT, how you feeling, man?
I'm good, Martinez. I'm good, and I'll make sure when I see you, I'll give you that $20 for that intro.
Yes, sir.
Man.
Yes, sir. Just put it in the tithe and offering. We'll count that.
Donate it. I got you.
Right. Because folks is tipping God these days instead of tithing to him. But that's a whole. Man, how you feeling?
I'm doing well. So great to be a part of this and what God is doing.
Yes.
And I think this is such an important subject, and it's a blessing, man, that you've been given the task, and and you've recruited a good team, and we're excited about it.
Yes, man. I thank you because I know now pastors are busy like crazy. Everybody on the prayer list. Funerals have gone up, divorces are and couples is going crazy, kids is acting out. You try church alive, all those things, trying to keep finances in without them thinking you're pimping the church. You're like, well, listen, we're just trying to keep the lights on and pay the necessary bills. Let me ask this: how are you doing, Pastor? How are you in your own? Because I don't think that we as a people ask our pastor, first and foremost, thank you for the work that you are doing, because it is. I know we get paid in heaven. I know that our crown, I get it. But every now and again, you want just a chicken dinner or some love from some member. But how are you doing, Pastor, with everything?
Man, I know it sounds a little generic for, many of us, but look, I'm hanging in there, man. It has been a roller coaster ride. I am a roller coaster aficionado. And I love the thrills and the rides, but not in ministry. But this has been, the colossus of rides, and but I'm doing well. I believe I'm in a good place. In ministry, there's always some healthy tension.
Yes.
I think COVID took us all to a place we've never been before.
Right.
And so even mentally, spiritually, psychologically, how to wrestle with that and still find, balance and rest and all those things, has been a challenge. But I'm in a good place. Good. Always can be better, but I'm in a good place.
Yes. And I think that, again, too often, we just take our pastors for granted. We expect that, we can call you at 3 a.m, 2 p.m.
Yeah.
You don't have a life. You don't have a family. You're not supposed to have a sabbatical or self-care. We in a pandemic, Pastor. See about me, myself, and I, and you just come along. But I praise God. I asked you, when I thought about this whole putting this Black Man Made Well together, this whole conference and everything, you of course, we've been rolling a long time.
Yeah, a long time. When you were intro and I was thinking about it, it's been a long time.
It's been over 20 years.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
We've been rolling long. Used to be almost
when you had hair.
When I had hair, yes. Braids. You didn't know me in my Jerry curl days. I had fades and everything else. Pastor Sly in the back laughing. Yeah, I had, when I had hair. But why is this so important? And thank you for joining us. From your perspective, why is it so important that we really start addressing mental health for the Black man?
I believe it's extremely important because we don't really look at our mental health. Just like we were talking offline about, Black men are told to, hey, be strong. I think you said it in his intro, strong physically, be provider, protector, all
Right.
those things. As long as we think we're doing those things, we're good. Don't cry. All those stereotypical
Yes.
generalities that we've dealt with coming up.
Yes.
And we're broken. Life has
Yes.
broken us. And I think, as we've talked in the planning, we suffer from PTSD and don't even know it. And so I think our mental health is critical. Yeah, we understand spiritual health, but God wants us to be whole, mind, body, and soul. And we miss that mind part. And so I think it's critical that we start to talk. I think it's critical that we start to reach out to other folks. I love that it's a commercial where it talks about just having a conversation that deals with mental health. That you see a friend suffering, just ask, "Are you okay?" Right? We don't even get that,
right?
And so and that could go a long way. Are you okay? And really mean it, and really listen, and really take the time to pour into someone else, and just to listen to someone else. And as African Americans, we are kind of used to just kind of doing it and grunting and bearing it. And we got to wait on the world, the weight of the family, wait on all these things on us. And we don't have an outlet. We don't have a place where we can go and just share what's on our heart and mind.
You're absolutely right. You when you talked about PTSD, psychologist Rita Walker out of the University of Houston, she says this in her book, The Unapologetic Mental Health of Black Mental Health. She says it says, we have normalized trauma so much in our community that we no longer recognize when we are in crisis.
Yeah.
That's such a she said, we have normalized it and made it such a part of who we are, and almost like carrying it so much that we no longer many of us struggle with the capacity of being able to recognize when we are in trauma, when we're in crises. And that was just like a moment for me, because many of us are, I'm making it. I'm just waiting till my chance. We keep pressing through without saying, I'm done.
Yeah, and we don't see all the stuff that we're carrying behind us. You're speaking about trauma. I think about, I was a parole agent, probation officer, carried a gun and badge. And I remember being pulled, when I get pulled over, even on the job, get pulled over in my state car. And I would still have a physical reaction to the police lights.
Wow.
Police pulling behind me. I mean, a physical reaction and run all through that, in my head because of the trauma that I've dealt with as a Black man in police. I got a gun, I got a badge, I got a legitimate reason. But still, even to this day, if a police car pulls behind me, I have a physiological response to that because of the trauma I've experienced.
And those microaggressions and those micro effects that happen on us constantly. And when I always say it this way, trauma and stress enters the body one way, but if we're not careful, it's got to exit somehow. And I believe, as Dr. Walker says, it comes out in our high blood pressure and hypertension, diabetes. I'm with her that it comes out, those stressors then create cancer, creates other bodily things, because we have not learned how to get it out. And I'm even talking about possibly as we know, psychosis and some other things. I know that's going a little deeper, but it does affect us if we don't learn how to effectively do some self-care, get all this trauma out of us, and have some sort of safety plans and some sort of treatment plans, treatment goals to go along with us, and so that we can reclaim our sanity. Yes. Well, Pastor, we got another pastor on here. Listen, y'all road dogs and everything. Listen, I call him my internet pastor. This is my first time getting a chance to meet him, but he's doing great work in the IE, you know, and I love it that, you know, the goal is to bring pastors together and all of us doing common ministry together so that we can find strength in our numbers and find out, listen, this is their strength over there. Go over there. They're going to help you out, or go here. But so glad to have him. This is his first time on the show. But let me tell y'all, it's not going to be his last one at all, because this brother is doing it. So glad to have him. None other than Pastor Sly Wallace.
Hey,
welcome.
What's going on, man?
Man, we're doing well. How you feeling?
All is well, man. I'm just honored. Thank you for this opportunity, man, to share with ministry and Black men. That's a powerful topic, man.
Isn't it? Isn't it? For those who may not know who you are, please share with us who you are, what you do, and your passion for, especially this topic. We're talking about Black men in today's society and today's church.
Yes, sir. Well, again, my name is Pastor Sly. I'm a modality specialist by trade. Actually, I'm in my practicum for clinical counseling.
Yes.
For this very reason, recognizing that the stigma and the limitation that institutions have strategically denounced Black men's rights. They have been very strategic and minimizing and trivializing our experiences. So I'm just trying to position myself to be a greater asset to Black men and men of minority as a whole. You know, there's a lot of brokenness in our community. And I really believe that ministry can be a viable solution to a lot of that.
Yes.
So
I agree.
For the opportunity.
Yes, absolutely amazing with that, and I love your passion for that. Let's talk, guys, or pastors, on this whole thing, role of Black men, and let's talk about just society as a whole. You know, you heard my little soliloquy at the beginning of this, that often, you know, we're told all these concepts of how we're supposed to act and how our roles we're supposed to live in. And then when we get older and we're still carrying out those roles, we wonder why we have problems in our marriages. We wonder why we have problems with our children and our relationship, because we have not been taught, and I'm painting with a very broad stroke. We have not been given permission to be a man. First and foremost, Pastor Sly, what do you say about that, and how do you answer that with Black men in our society in the IE today?
Okay, that is a powerful. I mean, man, you just tossed that up, man. So I really take it back to post Jim Crow, and we weren't allowed to lead our families. We were disseminated. We were broken down. We were dehumanized. We were economically castrated and minimized when we would let our family and we let our community. And most of our role models as men, they were put down. They found flaws in them, and so we grew up with a generation that took the quintessential example of a man as merely a provider and not an emotional support.
Yes,
a loving father, and then, even, you know, from a different perspective, our fathers were the first generation that they actually allowed to own anything without hanging them or lynching them. Now, I'm not trying to get all deep with it.
No.
This is a warm topic for me.
Yeah.
And so, and with that, the Black man, the examples of what manhood is outside of provision, the example of what manhood is outside of human reproduction.
Yes.
It's not there.
That's good.
You know, we have glamorized, and I have nothing wrong with athletes. My sons are athletes, but an athlete has this place. And if that athlete doesn't have morality, but they're in a position of influence, that too is a detriment to the African American or to the Black man. So ministry in itself has to be able to speak to the brokenness of Black men by first showing our own transparency. One of the reasons I really believe that Black men are not in church is because they've been beat up by law enforcement. They've been beat up on the job. Their wives are getting better positions. Their girlfriends are getting better positions. They are harassed. They are followed in the stores. and they don't want to come to church and hear somebody that they see as their equal disseminate them and tell them what they should be doing. But for them to understand that I suffer as a man just like you, but yet overcoming, allows them to see themselves in me, and to see themselves in Pastor James, and to see themselves in other pastors. That's how we make leeway and make the ministry relevant.
Doc, you just said a word. Listen, I'm watching the Pastor offering plate online. Now, please give to Pastor Sly's Cash App.
No, that's you, man.
You said so many things with that, and I love that. How society has not only castrated Black men financially, but emotionally. And stripped us of our tried to strip us and attempted to strip us of our power and our natural right to be fathers, of our natural rights to be husbands, of our natural rights to be men.
Ooh, that's powerful. That's good.
And so when you are stripped of your God-given rights, you then fall into a negative cycle. So you can't help but to act out. You know, Pastor, we were talking about behaviors of children, and when they're depressed and when they're going through trauma, you know, we always go, "What's wrong with you?" And it's very accusatory.
Ooh, that's good.
Instead of saying, "Is something bothering you? You don't seem like yourself." You know, I have men coming in my sitting on my couch, and I'm saying, and one of the first questions I ask them is, "Who are you?" I don't say anything. They tell me their name. I say, "I know your name because you filled out the paperwork. I know your name. I know where you live. You know, I know your age. But who are you?" And you see the tears welling up in their eyes.
Come on, man.
And then if one tear falls, they begin immediately to apologize. I'm sorry. I said, you don't have to apologize here.
That's powerful.
There's this, and you begin to see the release. I had one of my male clients. He came for about 6 weeks. Every week he would cry, and he just goes, "I don't know what it is when I come in here." I said, "I'm hoping that you feel safe."
Wow. That
you can let all of the angst of the world go and just really release it. Pastor JT, same thing. The plight of the Black man today in society, as you see it.
Well, again, I love Pastor Sly's answer. One thing I would add is that we've been carrying this weight for so long. And I think part of the battle is we don't know how to name it. Right. We know, we see it, we feel it, but we don't know how to, kind of identify it.
That's good.
And so because we can't identify, we struggle, to address it. It's baggage that we've been carrying, and we just know, I got the baggage, but I don't know what to call it. Just like when you talked about the men crying. Okay, well, tell me, what's those tears about?
Yes.
I don't know. I
That's
just want
good.
to release that. I was in a barbershop conversation. Well, actually, when I say a barbershop, it was actually at a barbershop. It was some community leaders there to really talk about some issues in the African American community. And one thing we talked about is, the trauma that we've experienced, it's been systematic. It's been hundreds of years that we've been dealing with it. And so a lot of the trauma, again, we're just starting to scratch the surface. We're just starting to have these conversations. We're just starting to tell our boys, it's okay to cry. It's okay to say, I'm hurt. It's okay to be transparent with young men. I think Pastor Sly, you said at the beginning, I think one thing that's really helped me, and Marty, I've been dealing with men in ministry for for decades.
That's
my passion.
Yeah.
One of those things is being able to be transparent and relational, right? You got to be willing to spend that time and invest that time. Case in point, you talk about the plight of the black man. Not only are we dealing with the trauma of being, as Pastor Sly said, emasculated by the community.
Yes.
Not only are we dealing with the trauma of society and communities trying to remove us from our homes, in our own, human family can only get assistance and help when the black man's outside the house. Not only are we dealing with being identified, at young ages for the prison industrial complex, and then also just falling into that. Not only are we subjected to these images of negative images of black men, on TV and movies and the rap videos, all those type of things are pounding us with these negative images. And carry that weight and have no place to go. Tools, resources, coping, skills. Even when we go to the Word, being able to have someone walk us through and see, well, what does that look like off the pages? What does that look like, walked out? And so we have this weight that we're dealing with, and it is difficult for us to, again, be able to cast all those things on somebody and just be able to sit on the couch and cry and it be okay and not be judged because of it. So I think we are in hitting a critical mass, but at the same time, I see a movement for really giving black men an avenue to get some skills to help cope with the trauma we deal with.
Yes. I love that. Get some skills to help cope with the trauma we live with. I always like to say this when I'm doing some therapy. It's like, my job is to give you some tools that you can put in your toolbox, that you can put in your backpack, that you can carry along. So, in your toolbox, you don't need all the tools all the time. But it's good to know that I have something. If I need a wrench, I can reach right in there. If I need a screwdriver, I can. If I need a hammer, and so I love it because I see our jobs. And Pastor, I thank you for that, for always sharing your beliefs on mental health with the church. You said, "Listen, y'all get 3 free sessions from me. After that, y'all go on." And I'm like, don't, I won't refer you out because I want to be able to lift my hands and not do like this. So trust me, I'm not having none of y'all as my clients. I want to love on you on Sundays and not judge you. No, not.
That's right. Marty, I love really quick when you said, again, the toolbox, because we always talk about having tools and resources.
Yes.
But another aspect of that we often forget is being able to help people use the tools, know the appropriate tools for the appropriate situation. Because there's folks that I know, they got hammers and drills and all kind of stuff outside in the garage. But if you put it in their hand, they wouldn't know nothing to do with it. Know how to use it. But those tools to help us cope,
that's
we need
good.
to be able to use them in the proper way.
See, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
That was deep what you just said.
Yeah.
Because the only way we recognize what a tool is it's been exemplified by somebody else. And so as we begin to solidify our mental health, as we begin to use that word, I love that word, that she used, self-care. We have to be able to define, be able to embrace when we're at our own limit. One man's limit is not your limit. You got to know yourself. And I'm telling you, as the African-American experience, or as the Black man, we have to create environments so each man can feel safe to be vulnerable within his own limitations without being judged. Let me be broken. And you said something when you said them tears. And I can just see, just some of the hardest people, some of those people who have been through trauma, some of those people who have survived shootouts and who has been in the penitentiaries, get in a safe spot and weep, because there's never been in an environment for it to be okay for us to be broken.
Yes.
It's okay to not have the solution. It's okay not to have the answer. It's okay. And you are not a loser. You are not a failure because you didn't have an answer, because you don't know how to flow in the situation. That is what the community of men is for, to help. I feel good, boy. To help give you the solutions on a neutrality or on a mutual collective intellectual base, where we feed off one another and we define what manhood is from a community perspective.
Come on. Yes.
That's so powerful, man. Thank you so much for saying that, Pastor James. You know, powerful. Thank you for that. I love that.
Yo, they doing tag team like it's the 7 last sayings.
Yeah, you Pastor James putting it down. I love it. I love it.
Oh man!
Can I tell you? My father had tools, but he was not a handyman.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
So I didn't know how to put things. I still don't know how to put things together. I'm not going to embarrass myself and say I got a bike that I got for Father's Day in 2020 that's still in the box because I didn't know how to. Don't y'all tell anyone that. But that wasn't my strength. That wasn't my and that wasn't even what was modeled before me. So I did not know how to be the handyman because being a handyman was not modeled before me. Now, what was modeled before me was how to explode. What was modeled before me was how to show anger. What was modeled before me was how to put people down and then go back and say, I'm sorry. I love you. I didn't mean to hurt you.
Come on, man. That's
now that was modeled.
Yes.
And how do I reprogram myself and acknowledge that was my father? His blood runs through me. But I have a choice now as an adult to my grandma said, well, chew the meat and spit out the bones. In other words, I can get his good qualities that I like and then work hard and pray, God, give me the strength to get rid of the bad qualities. Why? Because I'm a new creation. See, I didn't mean to go there.
Offering pan is coming your way, Doc.
And I think when we realize that, we can grieve. You know, maybe I had to help some people walk through grieving the father they never had, but loving the father that they did have.
Watch out, Doc. You there you go again, man. There you go. One of the things that I have recognized as a minister is that we often have to be an earthly example of a father.
Yes.
Those people who person may not be there. You would be surprised. I mean, I have seen some young men who have been in identity crises, or I have seen some young men and young women who have been struggling. And I'll get down on one knee and I would validate them. Listen, you are powerful. You are a man like pastor. You are focused. You are a beautiful young lady. I'm speaking to their life because as pastors, we're anointed for that. The power of God sits on our life to be able to make lack to be a strength and not a weakness. And so to be able to validate and to be able to speak a word into them. Listen, kids don't care if you're the biological when it gets right down to it.
They sure don't.
You speak a word in my life that edifies me, that validates who I am, who allows me to recognize the things that I want are attainable. They are achievable because somebody believes in me.
Yes.
And so just being able to speak that life, man, that ministry is so powerful.
It is.
I don't think pastors really understand two things. We don't understand our limits and we don't understand our power. We don't understand our limits and we don't understand our power. Our limits is this. Once I help you reconcile your spirituality, then the mental health piece is for the mental health professionals. That's my limit. If I am not a skilled professional, just like you said, 3 and go, You get 3 sessions, and I'm sending you to the LMFT to get your marriage help, brother. You know, if you have suicidal ideations, we can bind the spirit and we can deal with the spirituality of it. But then we need to see if you're safe to be by yourself. I need to know my limitations and know after I prayed and dealt with your spiritual issue, now it's time for you to get natural help. We don't know our power because out of our mouth flows life.
Come on.
There's life that comes out of our mouth. Every Sunday morning we stand, we get to speak life to somebody. Every Sunday morning, every Wednesday or Thursday or whenever we have conversations, God has positioned us strategically to speak life into a broken situation. And if we use that power wisely, we can change lives. We can change lives. Power and limitation, man.
Yes. Absolutely. Pastor JT, can you talk about, I was gonna say, go ahead, and then because I want you to talk about before I lose it, your mentorship programs. As Pastor Sly was talking about speaking life, how you have charged, especially the men and everyone in our church, that we should be pouring life through mentoring others in the church. Talk to us. Go ahead and make your comment. Talk to us about that.
And that goes back to, again, what the scripture talks about, you know, making disciples, and part of making disciples is pouring into the lives of others. And that is not some, you know, some hollow, you know, mechanism, but you have to actually do life together. When Jesus did life together with his disciples, that means he spent time with them, getting to know them. You know, we often talk about one part of our, you know, our mission statement is to, you know, to reach. And part of that reaching is reaching people right where they are. A lot of times when folks come to us, especially as pastors in ministry, we want them to raise themselves up to a level, then come. But no, it's us that need to go where they are. Like you said, I think a big picture of that when you said take a knee, right? Take a knee, right where you are, because Jesus found me right where I was, right? He loved me right where I was.
Pastor.
He brought me up. He gave me a new life. He started to transform me and walk with me. So I think it's important that we do life with folks, that we invest in people, right? And that means you're gonna have to spend some time with people, not just when they show up on Sunday, not just talk to them when we need something, when it's scripted, but actually investing in their lives. And so one of the challenges is that all of us, you know, as leaders, that you be pouring into somebody's life. Discipleship is not just for the pastor, not just for the minister, not just for a deacon, not for just for the teachers, not just. It is for all of us. Jesus told that command to the disciples, and we're all disciples, and we're all called to make disciples. But you gotta be willing to pour into someone else's life. You know, you gotta be able to give them an ear. You got to be able to say, you know what? If nobody else loves you, I love you. You know, I love you. I see something in you, you know. And listen, God found me when I was broken. I know you stink. I know your life is tore up. I know you.
Our hands went up.
I know you. I saw you down there on the curb. Guess what? I was on the curb too. So I just moved up, you know, and got up off the curb. But I know where the curb is. And if you're there, I'm coming to get you. You know, often you heard me say this, Marty, that in order to do ministry, you got to be willing to get some blood on you. You got to be willing to get some dirt on you. You got to go to where the people are broken, where the folks are dirty, you know, and be able to love them right there, because that's the same thing God did for us.
And I love that because, Pastor, you do that, especially with men. You really showed me and taught me how to love men that way. In a brotherly love way, because you know, my experience was like, I don't, you know, dealing with, you know, Pastor Sly grew up in a domestic violent household, so it was very difficult for me to trust male role models in that. So, but I love what Pastor JT does too. In our ministers meeting and leadership meeting, he always goes, talk to me. Who are you mentoring? And who are you pouring into? He says, I don't, and they don't have to be from the church. In fact, I prefer that most of them not be from the church. Who are you pouring into outside of these walls? And I love it because you constantly remind me. I felt guilty because I haven't talked to I have a young men's mentor group that I haven't talked to them in January. I was like, I got to get them back on track. Got kind of lost in the shuffle in December, but love those men, those young men, and pouring life into them to let them know you're okay. As they're dealing with their own, and each one of them brings such a uniqueness, and I love that. Where do we go from here, Pastor Sly? How do we encourage those who are watching, whether it's live now or the repeat of this or the rewind when they see it later? What's the first step that you could encourage?
I love what you just said, man. Mentoring is so important. Our change is actually an acronym. Change Church actually stands for Christ has anointed a new generation of excellent disciples.
Come on now.
And that mentorship is crucial. But if I could share this message with any man, anyone who is watching, anyone that will watch, it is never too late for a fresh start.
That's good.
It's you gotta know that if you're still alive and if you're still breathing,
that's good.
There's greatness on the inside of you. There is something phenomenal. There is something unique. There is something authentic to your experience.
Love that. Yes.
And live, man. It's not too late to live. Live. Listen, I know what the world is saying. Right. I know what people have said.
Yes.
I know what communities have said. I know what other races have said. I know that we're only 16% of this nation, and we are the least represented in college and all that. Those numbers are loaded. We are going to college. Fathers are making a comeback. We are significant. We are showing up. We are protecting our homes. We are valued. We are valuable. We are valuable, man. Hang in. Don't you dare give up. There's no quitting you. There's no quitting you. Keep pushing. Keep pushing.
Love that. Pastor JT, what message do we leave to those who might be watching or will watch the replay?
One of the first steps that I'll often say and talk about is you got to be willing to take a step. And that step is, share, say, help, even if you don't know what that may look like. Right. And sometimes you just got to almost I won't say coax it out of individuals, but far as on our part, be open and welcoming. Give a person an opportunity to say, hey, you know what, brother? I'm here to help. If it's just listen, if it's just spend some time with you, because I think men are afraid to take those first steps. We've been so damaged. We've been so beat up, right? And going back, and you're also in that domestic violence situation. We don't trust. Men don't trust. I often share with me, and I know you don't trust. I got a brother I'm dealing with now. He sidestepping and everything else, but he think I'm gonna just go away. I was with this group, Marty, and they were talking about dealing with incarcerated men and how can we as the faith community continue to reach out to them, and what do you do when you got people who they just don't want to receive help? And it gets to a point where you just, give them their space. And the guy asked the question, well, how long is too long? Well, the time limit is up to God, because God was patient with me, long suffering. Sometimes it may take, weeks, months, years, but we don't give up until God says it's time for us to move on. And I think as men, a lot of times when we reach out to other brothers to make those steps, we often get discouraged and quit when we don't get the response we're looking for. I've learned, and I got to help my wife with this. She'll tell you this, that when, I won't say I don't ignore people's responses, but I learned to look past the responses. If they give me a negative response, those kind of things don't move me. I don't really get upset with that. I'm dogged when it comes to those kind of things. And so I think that the first step is let folks know help is available. God did it for me. He can do it for you. We don't have to get all in the, Christianese and all the minutiae. I am here because I want to help you, brother. I want to encourage you, love on you right where you are.
That's good.
And Marty, can I say something really quick?
Of course, please.
Man, I applaud you for the courage to really deal with the issues of the Black man. And the way you're doing it's so classy, so stylish. You're not. I love that, man, because so many shows I have watched. They're killing this, and they're pointing out faults, but you're taking the issues of men, of Black men, and you're making them common. You're normalizing it, so we can have hope. So God bless you for that, man.
I appreciate you.
Part of that, man. That's powerful.
I appreciate that. I try to do things from a stance from what I needed. I know when I got to California, I was broken. And the only thing I wanted to, my mother was broken, I was broken, I said, God, just help me get through. I did not realize I was in so much trauma. My mother's watching, so I don't even know if she even realizes this. So, hey, Mom. I did not realize that I was in such a depressed, traumatic mode. I moved to California in the middle of my junior year in high school. Do you know our brain, God has wired us to be so powerful and our minds to be so powerful. I don't remember anyone except for my cousins that I went to high school with here in California.
Wow.
No, I can remember everyone from Ohio. Got to California, can't remember anyone. No one from California. But maybe 5 people, and they were all Black folk. And I went to Irvine High School in the 80s. Right. Went to Berkeley. Can remember my friends from there, but that showed me that God had to protect my mind during that time.
Powerful.
And every now and again, I have little peekets of memories from there. I remember going to school. Don't remember a person there.
Jeez.
Because my mindset was, I'm getting up out of here and going away because I'm tired of the trauma and the pain that was going. Sure, I was an honor roll student. I went to UC Berkeley. That's fine. Was going to church every Sunday, all that. And part of my distrust of men was that I believe everyone in my church knew it, what was going on. My pastor knew it, but was my father. My father was a great provider. I'm not going to lie on that. But emotionally, he was a wreck. And you can't say, well, he's a great provider. Yeah, we lived in one of the best houses in the town. But yeah. And so my trust for men was like, y'all can't be trusted. You know what's going on, but no one is there to protect and rescue us.
I love that.
So I felt I had to come and rescue myself.
Yeah. I love how you talked about that. And I know we're getting toward the end.
You're all right.
But it is those layers that we deal with. And there's so many men that may have had those same kind of experiences.
Yes.
That don't recognize the trauma. Don't recognize it's because I was raised in this house. And the one thing I love about you sharing your story, and I know a little bit about your story, you don't make excuses for that, right? You own how your own behavior, but you recognize these are the things that help shape me, right? And these are the things. These are certain behaviors.
Yes,
those are the things. That's why I was doing these things. Now I wonder why I was, like you said, it was modeled before me. Get so angry and upset.
Yes,
all these things. And many of us as Black men don't know that. And so what do? We find ourselves in addiction. We find ourselves, we're dealing with, again, repeating the cycle. We find ourselves womanizing. We find ourselves in all these type of things. But it's because of this baggage we deal with. And that's one thing I love about, again, our relationship with God. I tell people all the time, I said, one thing it is about being a believer is that you have to understand that wholesale change is possible. My pastoral counseling teacher over at Golden Gate, Dr. James Bell, he came to Christ in his 30s while he was a prison psychologist. And he says, I would go through with all my colleagues and we counsel all these people in jail and in prison and all this. And we just as bad as them because we're like, we don't believe change was possible.
Right.
He said, until I really came to Christ and I recognized that wholesale change is possible. We are changed individuals.
Come on, preacher. Yeah, speak that.
Speak that. Christ can change who you are. And when we get changed, now we have to learn how to cope with the new man. Because the old man is always waving his hand.
At the door knocking. Look.
Still right here.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. One last thing I wanted before we, suicide rate in the Black community, especially with Black men, is on the rise. The statistics are showing it. Where as a whole in the country is on the decline. Our latest statistics in 2020 is showing that, especially for Black men between the ages of 16 and 24. And our dear friend, Pastor John Henry Scott, it marks a year, Pastor, that he funeralized one of his friend's 10-year-old sons who committed suicide. 10. I can imagine at 10, you're supposed to be playing with your Legos, your Xbox, your PlayStation, your football. But what devastated him that at 10, he felt the only out was to kill himself. And these are the conversations, and how we're having with church as well, and especially helping Black men. And Pastor, talk to us about what you're seeing this increased depression that Black men are facing, Pastor Sly, and how do we? I love you said speak life. That's my favorite thing. That's encouragement is one of my spiritual gifts. And speaking life into men without beating this already talked about topic, but how do we address those men who are so far depressed, not saying gone, depressed, that they feel like their only hope is to give up?
Right.
What do we say to those men?
First thing, man, and thank you for this opportunity to really deal with that. First thing is we have to normalize their experience.
Yes.
We have to tell them you're not the only one that feels this way.
Yes.
No, it feels like you are by yourself, but we have to normalize their depression. Not saying it's okay to be depressed. Let them know there are other men that feel just like you do, who get up every morning and they don't give up. We got to normalize. And then number two, we got to talk to one another. And what we talk to one another is we don't minimize their pain. One of the things I used to hear when I was a young man was I used to have much older cousins, and I would go through like a heartbreak. And they would be like, boy, that's puppy love. That ain't nothing. You ain't in love. You ain't know what love is. You behind the ear. No. The reality is for a 10-year-old and a 12-year-old and a 30-year-old, pain is pain.
Pain is pain.
Hurt is hurt.
Yes.
A broken heart is broken at 10 the way it is at 50.
Yes.
We got to ask, and we have to ask them, are you okay? Where you at with this, man? Are you homicidal? Are you suicidal? Have you thought about this? Have you thought about if you would carry this out?
Yes.
And if they say yes, I'm calling the police. You're going to the mental health facility, bro, because I love you. You get mad at me if you don't. But I'm going to do what I can to help you. But we have to normalize it, man. We gotta talk to each other. And what I have noticed, man, is Black men often want to talk after we introduce vulnerability to our conversation.
Yes.
Once we say, hey, man, I know what it feels like to feel like the world is collapsing around you. It makes it okay for them to let go of that bravado, let go of that ego, let go of that protection and say, hurting, and somebody understands enough to talk to me.
Come on. Yeah. Woo. We could go on. Pastor JT, same thing. How do we help these hurting men like that? So that we're and I love that, normalizing the Black man's feelings and talking. Pastor
Absolutely. JT. And I believe you hit it right on the head, Pastor Sly. First thing is we cannot minimize their pain. I think I said it, Marty, a couple weeks ago, in one of the sermons that, when somebody is down and beat up, You don't add to the trauma by coming up with your own opinion and thoughts about what they're feeling.
Right.
You meet them right where they are.
That's
you again let them know, just like Pastor Sly said. Listen, us folks that are hurting, like you. You know, what can I do? How can I be here with you? And again, not be afraid to ask those questions when you see someone in a desperate situation. Well, what's going on? What are your thoughts, man? You know, and when they say things, you know, you got to be willing to make those steps. You know, I often used to say on my job, you know, we got to be careful. You ask certain questions, you're going to own it, and you got to walk them all the way through. And we got to be willing
to walk them
to walk them all the way through, to give them their lives are that valuable. And you need to let them know that they're that important to you. And again, it goes back to that whole dogged attitude, because, you know, folks gonna say something just to get rid of you, you know. But you got to be willing to spend that time, hear them out. Make sure you have the right resources, you know, at your, especially as pastors, ministers, leaders, the right resources at your, you know, at your disposal. Because a lot of times people don't act because they don't know where to seek help. Somebody has cried out to them. They've done the thing. They've listened, you know, but they don't know what those next steps are to get them the help that they need. But the key is that we just got to meet folks where they are and love them right where they are. We don't have all the answers, and it's okay to tell them, listen, I don't have all the answers. But what I do have is my ears. What I do have is my heart. And what I do have is a little time to be able to spend with you and listen. And if you want help, listen, I'll walk with you. I'll go with you. You know?
Well, this has been absolutely amazing. I cannot thank both of you. You know, I think we need to do this at least once a quarter, bring in some of these other pastors so we can keep the dialogue. We got to keep the dialogue open, and we bring more pastors on board with us. So at least we're all beating to the same drumbeat in Riverside County, that we said, listen, we are making sure that the Black churches that serve Black men, we are in unit and we're in sync together. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I'm just agreeing with you, man.
Yeah.
We serve. Our community matters. That was so profound.
It does matter, and where we're not jealous of one another, but that we're supporting each other. Imagine if a year from now we saw our churches increase in Black men, and we are now empowering them to be the true called by God heads of their households. To be head in their work environment and to be leaders in the community. What a difference they're teaching them to make. And we can see major changes for God happen right here in Riverside County. And they have to take a look at us. What are you all doing? We're trusting God and healing men.
Amen.
Let's go. Let's go.
Before we leave, Pastor Sly, how do we, for those who might come in later, how do we get a hold of you, and how do we reach out to you, and how can men follow you and reach out to you and worship with you on Sundays?
Yes, sir. So it's changedchurch.org, CHANGED church.org. And you can email me at changechurch@gmail.com. Man, we have service at 9 a.m. We do a young men's mentoring class. You know, I focus with the 9. I like that 9 to 18, and then we do another class from 2 to 30. It's man, if you're struggling, it's no cost. Get help. Don't give up. Get help. We're here for you, man. Ladies, you know, my wife, she does mentoring ministry, and we're just here to serve, man. We
love it.
We're real simple people. We just want you to be empowered to be the best you that God has made you to be.
Love it, Pastor. Thank you again. Pastor JT, how do we get a hold of you at Eastvale Bible Church?
Amen. Look, we're on, you know, social media, all those things, Instagram, Facebook, and, you know, Eastvale Bible Church, and eastvalebiblechurch.org, the website. And if you want to shoot us an email at info@Eastvale Bible Church. And listen, we have just been blessed. Services 9:30. up on Beacon Hill. And we're just trying to do what God called us to do. You can catch us online, Facebook Live or YouTube. Go to our channel, check us out. But we're here to love on you and encourage you and to help you, be everything that God called you, to be. We often say for us, a win for us is a soul saved and a heart changed. And we'll take them one at a time.
I love it. I love that, man. That's
yes. And as we get ready to close, again, I cannot thank Pastor James Turner and Pastor Sly Wallace enough for being on this. We are determined we're going to change the lives of Black men in our community to make them healthy, wealthy, and strong mentally, physically, and spiritually. Yeah. So as we wrapping up, we want to remind you of all the amazing events that's going to be happening starting on Monday. On Monday, we have on Monday, the Black Men Made Well, the Stigmas. We have Dr. Tristan Webster, psychologist, helping us out. We have Dr. Robert Brown, educator, helping us out. We have Dr. Jackie Smith, a psychologist, and Dr. Danielle Hill, educator, talking about the stigmas that Black men face on Monday night at 7 p.m. On Tuesday, we have from yelling to yoga, talking about how Black men get centered in yoga. We got 3 Black male yoga instructors that's going to be with us. RJ Curtis, that yoga king. We got Dre Gardner coming in from Las Vegas, that yoga guru, and James Woods, that yoga dude right here in Riverside. We're going to be coming in, teaching us the importance of yoga, stretching, and getting grounded. So they're giving us live instruction on that. And Dre Gardner has an amazing testimony to show that he has had 3 grand mal seizures, and the only thing that kept him from being in a wheelchair has been yoga. My God, my God. Wednesday night. So glad about Wednesday night. Wednesday night, we have the Black Man Made Well, mental health and self-care. We have Yolo Robinson from the Beam group out of Los Angeles, who is a social justice and wellness advocate. We have celebrity psychotherapist Stefan Lewis from Inglewood. We have Richard Taylor, mental health advocate, and Richard's testimony is powerful. He's now a worship leader as is his church, but before he was age 22, he had tried to attempt suicide 3 different times. And he is sharing his testimony and also how he has lost 150 plus pounds and what that journey has been like for him. And then we got my man, my dude, Pernell Bush from down in the dirty South in Florida. And he's talking about how he does this wonderful pilot program of mental health and barbershop talk. Amazing that we're going to be doing that. That's on Wednesday. On Thursday, we have the Black Man Made Well, Father and Family. Fatherhood and Family with Jerron Clark, therapist here in Pomona. We have Thomas Shipp, fatherhood advocate, Dr. Alfred Elam, who is the founder of the National Saving Fatherhood Foundation, and also Dr. Ed Rice, educator and professor from Moreno Valley Community College, and they're going to be sharing with us on family and fatherhood. And Friday, we have 2 parts that's going on. First, finances and business with Justin Jerry, owner of Self-Made Training Facilities, Justin Hudson, owner of One Love IE, and my business coach and mentor, John Henry Scott III from Chart to Heart, powerful brother who has done executive coaching on 6 of the 7 continents throughout all of the world. This brother is so bad, 41-year-old cat who is also anointed to preach the word of God and has a heavy anointing on him. And then also on that Friday, we are going to be doing, do we have that one, Daryl? The system involved men. Sorry about that. We're going to have system involved. We have some police officers and also young man coming out. Oh, why can't I lost his name that fast? Who is over probation, not probation, child support services, and telling us how we can navigate through the system with it. But we're so glad. Thank you so much. And also look forward to coming out. Yes, the Young Men Made Well. I am so excited about this one. This one is geared for young men who are attending, who are system involved. Now, this is an in-person. It has to be pre-registered from ages 12 to 18. But I am so excited that in June, we are going to be launching the Young Man Made Well symposium as well, that we're going to be helping these young men from the ages of 12 to 24. And pastors, we're going to have y'all involved with that, because we have an impact that we can make a difference in these young men's lives before they get in the system and allow life to beat them up. But again, thank you all so much for joining us. I have had a ball.
Thank you.
I'm so excited. Y'all have just, listen, y'all got my mind going. And I listen, we could do this all night, but we're looking forward to our next quarter, how we can do this, inviting other pastors along the way. So again, thank you all. As I always say, let's not continue to secretly suffer in silence in the shadow of shame, but we got to speak up, speak out, and live. God bless, and we will see you on Monday night, 7 p.m. sharp. Take care.
Amen. God bless.
Yeah.